South Australia being a small population, we've always had to think outside the square. I think we've always punched above our weight in some ways. So I think being in South Australia is just such the right place for us to be. And for our business and for a growing business, being around the very brightest people is really important to us.
I love Australia and the idea of a strong Australian space industry. So what you're seeing is space is shifting from something that only the government could do to now something that industry is capable of participating in.
We have built a ground station to talk with our satellites in South Australia, you know, against all odds. That looks absolutely amazing. Our satellites are ready to go.
And we also have companies, international companies, that are relocating to South Australia. These are companies, global companies, that have seen South Australia as the place to establish their Asia-Pacific headquarters.
And it's really shown that in the last couple of years that South Australia has been supported, that we can as businesses come together in our own communities and expand globally.
Minerals moved from Melbourne in Victoria across to Adelaide, South Australia 2.5 years ago. It's been a very successful move.
South Australia is an easy place to do business. I wouldn't hesitate a second to locate our activity in South Australia again.
Adelaide Miami City is a part of the centre of the city of Adelaide, the capital of South Australia. In the centre of the city you have buildings totally dedicated to academic education and scientific research.
What we want to do here is we want to inspire young adults about the potential that science and technology can have for their future. Really to encourage people to think about things a little bit differently.
What American companies like about South Australia is the sort of sense of innovation that's taking place, the creativity.
I do believe that the gig city aspect is an important infrastructure item, and particularly, you know, more and more medical technologies relies on large amounts of data.
Services like this need to kind of start and work with the new types of businesses that are coming into the market, which are using much more bandwidth in terms of data transfer between here or overseas, or data transfer between universities, for example.
There's a lot of people that are eager to partner in military and in high-tech ventures in South Australia.
So the opportunity for South Australian companies is to be more broadly capable than just ships and submarines, and this is why land force is really important to many of our smaller companies. Having a diversified industry is really important.
We are just scratching the surface. Space is the biggest industry on Earth. There is nothing we can do in our lives without space.
South Australia, Australia are involved in this fantastic journey towards the knowledge economy.
It's critical for South Australians to be in the export market. We've got amazing services, opportunities, health and medical research, defence, advanced manufacturing, electronics.
This is not just trade in commodities, this is trade in really high-value, knowledge-intensive exports.
In such sectors as education, other professional accounting, lawyer services are all on the rise.
We're gonna just leapfrog into this commercial, private, amazing area of space where you will see how many jobs and how many incredible stuff we will do.
We have grown from 1 staff up to 70 staff.
So 21% growth in employment in the industry is amazing, and Stockist is up by 27%. I mean, it just proves that South Australian brands are hot and everyone wants them.
Through the building process, we employed an extra 153 people. We'll have more than 58 people full-time employed in the building.
We have 26 employees, and over the summer months there will be more casuals coming in.
We currently have about 1,400 people working with Minerals on our projects currently, and we expect another 1,000 people to be working directly on the Carrapateena project over the next 2 years.
Sylvester Global Food Company employs around about 300 people.
We like to think our business is, we try to create jobs as well, a lot for Aboriginal people, because we like to have that story pass through, and we tell that story on behalf of them.
All extra staff are employed by the factories. Probably 90% of our lobster are going to mainland China, Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, Xiamen. We're getting deeper and deeper into China every year now. It's a lot of money for our state, export-wise and domestic.
The wine industry is one of those lovely industries that has managed to keep afloat through some tough times. Very important part of South Australia, and when you think about how many grapes are grown here, how many people the industry employs, how important it is to regional South Australia, not just the city. You know, they're all in, most of the wineries are in beautiful parts of South Australia.
There's hundreds of winemakers in this room that have all come to see how their wines look and to taste the competitors and to help benchmark themselves. And to that extent, the wine show is also used for winemakers to come and learn more about Australian wine. So,
well, when people buy from us local producers, it turns the money around.
You know, it has a flow-on effect through all the tractor dealerships and the mechanical places and all the farm dealerships that supply equipment and chemicals. So really, really integral to South Australia.
Many South Australians, our wine regions are largely undiscovered. So for South Australians, it's an opportunity to go and see what the rest of the world rates so highly. When you're trying to appeal to people to come to a place, you need to have the best. And unequivocally, we have the best wine in Australia, if not the world. So the wine sector is a great driver for our tourism sector.
The Darrenborough Cube will bring a lot of tourism here. It's a great draw card, tourism draw card for the state. By having great tourism places to go and visit, then it cements it as a tourism and wine capital of the world.
Memories of a tourism experience or a culinary experience are so anchored to place and the people that provided that service.
Regional South Australia is obviously a food bowl for greater South Australia, but the exposure from events like Taste Australia, and we just love that South Australia is being promoted wider, and these events bringing people from South Australia, from the city base to the country.
Art can be such a powerful lure, a powerful destination.
This exhibition and the installation have been years in the making. I feel very privileged, and that it's quite a coup to actually have Chiharu Shiota's work permanently inhabiting the building.
With more than 1 million visitors in the last financial year, we know that our audiences are broad. We know that many of our visitors travel to come to the Art Gallery of South Australia.
The exciting thing is we've already attracted people of all different backgrounds, all different ages, anywhere from the age of 3 right up to 103, hoping to attract all sorts of people that are visiting Adelaide, and not just Adelaide, Australia, being Australia's very first inner city aerial adventure park.
Festivals are really in the heart of people who live in Adelaide and people of South Australia. The entire city is transformed. It turns into a magical wonderland, a magical festival wonderland. Most successful festivals in Australia will sell between 50,000 and 100,000 tickets, and we're selling 700,000 tickets, which makes us the biggest ticket-selling arts festival in Australia and in the Southern Hemisphere as well.
We do festivals, and when we do them, we do them well. That's what the city is about. It's why it's the country's best festival city, and it's why the city is a UNESCO Creative City for Music.
Adelaide Fashion Festival is so important to the South Australian state, not only from the fashion element and the fun, but definitely from a retail perspective and the growth of the industry. So it's an amazing festival this year. I mean, the fact that we have national brands coming and showcasing with us, bringing life to South Australia in fashion.
Wonderful environment for visitors to come into, like any great city. People are very proud of it as an event, as a city. They love living here, they love engaging with it. You look at the attendances for the Adelaide Festival, for the Fringe, for Adelaide, people go out and they get involved.
South Australia is going to be the state for entrepreneurs. For those that are here already, stay here and create your businesses and drive them forward, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to support you. And from those visiting from interstate and overseas, come to Adelaide and see what we're doing and see what we're going to achieve, because it is going to be really, really fantastic.